You've been lied to once or many times by a narcissist? I will share why they do this and how to respond to them effectively. I will also share at the end some of my stories when I was lied to by a narcissist. Narcissists often lie compulsively or pathologically to sustain a grandiose but fragile self image. For them, the truth is often less important than the narrative that allows them to feel superior, in control, or immune to criticism. Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm studying to become a life coach, specializing in narcissistic abuse and trauma recovery. I hope my videos are helpful, informative, and validating for you, whether you are presently in or have been in a narcissistic abusive relationship, have a friend or family member that presently is or has been in a narcissistic abusive relationship. Or maybe you have a friend or family member that is a narcissist, a boss, a colleague, a roommate. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Here is why narcissists frequently resort to compulsive lying, protecting a fragile ego. Deep-seated feelings of worthlessness and insecurity often drive the narcissist to lie. They use deception to hide their flaws and shield themselves from shame, rejection, or failure. They maintain superiority. Narcissists like to lie to inflate their own status and achievements by fabricating stories of success or importance. They attempt to elicit the constant admiration and attention they crave. Controlling perceptions of and others. Deception is a core tool for manipulation. Remember, they are master manipulators. They use lies, including gaslighting, to keep others emotionally off balance, question reality, and remain in a position of power. They like to avoid accountability. When faced with their own mistakes, narcissists may blatantly deny the truth or blame shift to others. This allows them to maintain their perfect image while evading responsibility. They have a lack of empathy because they struggle to connect with others' emotions. They often do not consider the harm their lies cause. The immediate benefit of the lie to themselves outweighs the impact it has on anyone else. And I've found with lying that when you make a lie, you have to do another lie to cover up the last lie and keep track of your lies so you don't get caught. But a liar eventually does get caught. It's much better to just be upfront, honest, and tell the truth. And besides, when you lie in a relationship, it breaks down the trust between two people. It is what I call a relationship killer. My mom taught me a lesson about lying when I was 6 years old. She caught me in a lie, and she did a visual description for me. She wrapped black thread around 2 of my fingers. Each lie was a wrap around the fingers. All of a sudden, you're bound by these lies. What can release those lies is the truth. The truth represents the scissors where she cut it. That made such a big impact on me. To this day, I cannot stand lying. And besides, I've been in many narcissistic relationships where they like to lie. Narcissists tend to lie. And it's, like I said, a relationship killer. So now I'm going to share the biological and habitual factors. Research suggests that for some, the brain actually gets used to dishonesty. It gets used to lying. It changes the neuroplasticity in the brain and the neural pathways, making it easier to tell larger lies over time. Some neuroimaging studies also point to differences in brain regions responsible for moral decision making, referring to the neuroplasticity. They also elicit sympathy. Some narcissists weave intricate tales of illness or misfortune to gain sympathy and attention, a tactic known as malingering. Dealing with someone who lies both compulsively and narcissistically requires a focus on self-preservation rather than trying to change their behavior, as people with these traits are often highly resistant to admitting they have a problem. Now, I'll share with you some coping strategies. Disengage and avoid arguments. Do not engage in circular arguments or power struggles. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. By remaining neutral, boring, and non-reactive, which is called the gray rock method, you rob them of the supply they crave. They feed on people's reaction to make themselves feel very important. You can avoid what's called jade, which is to justify, argue, defend, or explain. Reasoning with a compulsive liar is often a waste of time because they may believe their own lies or use their explanation as ammunition against you. Set and enforce firm boundaries. Clearly state what behavior you will not tolerate. For example, you can say, "I will leave the room if you start yelling at me," or "I cannot have this conversation if it isn't based on facts." You must be prepared to follow through with the consequences immediately. I'll tell you a story about my own life. I had a hard time setting boundaries. And I've learned in life that when you set boundaries, well, I got to the point where I had to not care about what people thought. And I know once you've been in narcissistic abuse, it's really hard to get there. I mean, it's taken me a while. I've been free from narcissistic abuse for a few years now. I've even lost track of how many years, but it takes time. So be kind to yourself about it. But I have learned in my own life with interactions with people that not even in a narcissistic abusive relationship, to set the boundaries and enforce them. And at first I was afraid, but I wanted people to respect me. I was tired of being told that I didn't know how to say no to people. So I thought, okay, I will show people. So I started setting boundaries with my work. And now people respect me. It is worth it, but yes, I know it takes time and courage to do it. Trust your own reality. Narcissistic liars often use gaslighting to make you doubt your own memory or sanity. To counter this, document interactions by keeping a journal or saving emails, texts to provide a tangible resource of what actually happened. And then try to detach emotionally. Remind yourself that their lying is a reflection of their own deep-seated insecurities or mental health issues. It is a trait of narcissistic personality disorder. And remember that. It's not a reflection of your self-worth. Lower your expectations for honesty or empathy from the narcissist. This will help you avoid the disappointment. Narcissists are actually unable to have empathy and compassion. So just keep that in mind. It is very important to build an outside support system. Connect with friends and family or a therapist who understands narcissistic personality disorder and complex trauma. They can provide validation and perception that the narcissist will not. If you go to friends and family or a therapist even, that does not understand MPT, they will make it more difficult for you. I've experienced that with friends who do not understand. For example, after I was discarded, you went to do the no contact. So I would not go to the same restaurant that I knew that he went to. And my friend retorted to me that, well, you're letting him control you. No, I'm not. I'm protecting my own boundaries and my own safety and trying to heal. And if I would see him, it would just open the wounds up again. And I also went to a therapist who did not understand complex trauma and MPD, and I actually went away more traumatized. So it's very important to try to get people in your life that understand the dynamics. So I'm going to tell you about some disarming phrases. I did a little bit earlier. So when they're caught in a lie or gaslighting attempt, use neutral short phrases to shut down the interactions. Use phrases like, I understand that you see it that way, but I have a different memory. Or, we can agree to disagree. Or, I can't agree with that. Or, I'm not okay with that. And the one I used was, it's just your opinion, but it doesn't make it the truth. Another one is, your perspective is interesting. Is this person someone you have interaction with daily, such as a family member or a co-worker? Or is this a romantic relationship you're looking to navigate? A romantic relationship can be very complex. Just consider that and ponder that. If you like my video and find it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know if you've been lied to by a compulsive, narcissistic liar and how you've coped. I really would like to hear your stories in the comments below. And let me know if you have any ideas for other videos, for future videos in the comments below as well. Now I will share my stories. The first one is, it was a psychopathic narcissist that I was with, the most abusive of any of them I've been with. He had lied to me to get money because he was going on a road trip. His parents were taking him to rehab because he had quite a few addictions, some of them being substance addictions. And he said he didn't have any spending money. And I only had $10 left, thanks to him, because he took all my money all the time. I had to support him. And you may wonder why I would just give him money and not say no. Well, like I said earlier, it's hard to set boundaries and say no when you've been in a narcissistic, abusive relationship and yourself has been so turned down, you don't have it in you to stand up to them. You've lost yourself. It's very, very sad. So I gave him my $10. I needed that $10 for gas money. Then, I don't know, a half hour later, I found them before I went on the bus, in a bar at a slot machine, spending my $10. I was very angry about it. I felt used. I confronted him. He got very angry with me. I caught him red-handed. And he didn't like it because narcissists don't like to be called down in public. They like to look like they're really good and grandiose and all these good things. So I did stand up to him in that situation, but that's an example where he had lied to me. The second example was not the same guy, but this guy had gone through all the stages that they do: love bombing, degrading, and discarding. And I had just been discarded by him, but we still saw each other once a week at that point because he had given me hope that, we were going to separate and work on ourselves and get back together. But that's one of their tactics, to keep you drawn in. They never planned to change. So anyway, I saw him. I hadn't gone the extreme no contact yet because I thought there was hope. So I saw him. We saw each other once a week, and he took a easier set of stairs to come into the building, and he said to me, I'm really ill. I'm not doing very well, and I don't know. I need some help. I might need to go to the doctor. Well, that is called malingering. He wanted my compassion. It made him feel good to have people have compassion on him. That's another example of lying. And lying can be acting out as well, or acting like you're super in pain when you're not, just to get compassion. That is a form of lying, and it's called malingering. So those are my stories. I have videos on emotional coping, solutions for stress, trauma responses and managing them, gaslighting, manipulation, and boundaries. Do you feel like your boundaries were violated or are being violated when the narcissist lies or has lied to you? Watch my video on boundaries. I will see you in that video.